I know everyone is excited and waiting for the green card lottery results. But before you know the results, you know, during the application process, you were supposed to make sure that you meet 2 qualifications. Sometimes they say one of these 2. One is either education, and the second one is work experience. But I've been receiving a lot of questions. What if I just have high school education alone, but I don't have even a single work experience? Will I qualify? Will I be given the visa down the road? That's number one question. But the second question is, what type of work experience is required? How many years? What if you are just a bus conductor? Can you come just as bus conductor? You ended up into primary school education. You have maybe 5 years as bus conductor. Can that qualify as a work experience to come here if you have won the green card lottery? But the most important is, how does the concept of the public charge now is playing part into determining if you are going to be a public charge? Because we say you have this kind of income, you need to have this kind of assets, things of that nature, so that when you come here, you cannot be a public charge. But will the work experience and your education be also part of determining that this person will come here, will not be able to succeed? Welcome everyone to the EBM Scholars. This is Ernest Budovas Makulilo. I welcome you to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/EBM Scholars. Before we continue, please remember to subscribe to this particular channel, but also remember to share the videos with your friends, family, and colleagues. Yes, I know everyone is excited. We have been left with a few days, I can say, for the green card lottery results. But if you go to the website, the government website from the Department of State, which gives you some information about diversity visa lottery information, like this one, they give you, this is a Department of State, so they give you the information and they say, if you are selected with the DV lottery, what do you need to do? There is a red part. That red part says, confirm your qualifications. So, by confirming your qualifications, there are 2 qualifications. You need to have one of these 2. But in my opinion, nowadays the game is changing. In many places, they require both of the 2, even if they don't say, because that is one of the way we can be sure of you can come here and be productive than just bring someone here and just in the end be doing a lot of crimes and not be productive in general. So, what are these qualifications? We are talking about education and we are talking about work experience. As I mentioned in my introduction, the minimum qualification usually is high school. And the qualification, we usually refer to the qualification of the main applicant. Assumption is, I'm a husband, I'm the applicant, I'm the main applicant. So they are looking for me. But if I'm married and have kids, obviously they're not going to look for the kids, like, because the kids are under 21 and married, they're not going to look for 5-year-old child, what is the work experience or education level of that particular child. But for your spouse, basically they're not supposed to look at it, but as a consular officer has obligation to make sure that we bring people in America who can be a productive member, who cannot be public charge, who cannot be doing crimes, who can be here and excel. Make sure that they can reach the American dream, but also they can make America go to further step of being a better country on the planet Earth. So by that way, they are going to ask information about your spouse. What they will ask you over there. So what is the education of your wife? What is the education of your husband? What is the work experience? Even if those are the things that are not required during the filling of the form of DSC 260, but during the application, it is better to have all those kind of information. They will help you down the road. So I'm going to read some of this from the government website, which is confirming your work experience. Diversity Immigrant Visa DV program requires the principal DV applicant to have high school education or its equivalent. That is number one. Or 2 years of qualifying work experience as defined by under the provisions of the US law. So listen very careful. One, high school minimum for the main applicant, the main winner. You need to have high school or equivalent. That's one. Or if you don't have that one, 2 years of qualifying work experience. Not just any work experience. It must be a qualifying work experience. There are certain kind of work experience. They have been defined by the Department of Labor. I will go to talk about it in a minute. But number one is not, as I mentioned, you just show up, just, oh, I've been making some making some eggs on the street, selling like hard-boiled eggs on the street. So I've been selling this for 3 years. That means it's a qualifying work experience. No, yes, it's work experience, but that is it qualifying to meet the requirements or standards of the Department of Labor for 2 years. So that's something you have to consider. If you do not have either the required education or qualifying work experience, you are not qualified to be issued a diversity visa. Only you, as the principal applicant, must meet this requirement. Your spouse and children do not have to meet this requirement. You should not continue with your DV application if you do not meet the qualifying education or work experience requirements explained below. You will not be issued the visa, and any fees you pay will not be refunded. So, it is only you as the main applicant. But I said, now there is the issue, because all these things are there on the website, but there is a public charge. And I'm going to show you how the public charge is going to also include your spouse, whether you like it or not. So if you have this one, whether they ask, whether they don't ask, they will help you. So, there are certain misconceptions. People are talking about education. Certain times, certain countries, for instance, I can give Tanzania or Uganda, I can give you example. They have what they call ordinary level or secondary school divided into 2 categories. Lower senior level and the senior level, whatever, or advanced secondary school and the ordinary secondary school, or high school and the ordinary secondary junior high school, whatever you call them. But you go 4 years of secondary school, those are not high school, then you go 2 years of high school. So be very careful. If you ended up into Form 4 or junior secondary school, high or ordinary secondary school, whatever you call in your country, that is not high school. It must be high school. That's number one. But let's be honest here. We are talking about someone to come here. Even if you have that high school, even if sometimes you might have bachelor degree, sometimes you might have trouble to get these kind of visas. I have one person this year has been denied a visa in Ghana, and he had to appeal, and they had to help him in order to include certain things. He has high school, he had like kind of some sort of associate, which is just a diploma, but he didn't have much of the work experience. But again, there are certain mistakes on how you writing work experience. How are you going to show work experience? Many people in developing countries have this kind of problem, a problem on how to put work experience. We have done so many things, but we do not know how to write a proper way in a resume, how to articulate the job description, duties of what we have been able to execute into our daily job description. So sometimes it makes it difficult to convert what you have been doing as work experience to meet the standards of the Department of Labor. So this person, I have the letter here. The reason why is denied the visa, they say there is what we call section 212, subsection A, subsection 5, subsection A again, which prohibits the issuance of visa to anyone who does not qualify for the diversity visa program based on education or work experience, or those who fail to comply with the diversity program rules. So this is the reason. But this person has more than high school and 2 years of diploma, or in the American context is just some sort of associate. But still this person was denied. Just because you have high school, it is also better or even if you have a bachelor degree, it is better at this moment to make sure that the part of the DS 260, which shows you your work experience, make sure you fill that area very, very careful. And again, you have to make sure that your work experience you're going to put on DS 260 is what is called qualifying work experience. And again, there is a website, online database from the Department of Labor, which provides all the jobs. You can put any kind of job, and then can be able to explain to you what does that mean. One of the things which you need to know about these work experiences, which is very, very crucial, I'm going to read here. I'm going to read it. This one was posted by the US Embassy in Albania. You can see here from the US Embassy. I prefer to use some of the official documents from the US government. Employment. To qualify for a diversity visa on the basis of your work experience, you must within the past 5 years, you must have at least 2 years of work experience of the work which meets the qualification of the qualifying for Department of Labor. And Department of Labor, they have put what they call designated job zone. You start from either job zone 4 or 5, and there is a specific vocational preparation. That means certain kind of training ranging from 7.0 or higher to be able to qualify. And I'll go to also to include these kind of links so that you can be in a position to do that. So even if they say work experience, so the work experience can be either of the two. Can be a paid work experience, can be unpaid work experience. It has to be 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years. So don't bring the work experience of 7 years ago, but you don't have work experience right now or within the past 5 years. And it can be paid or unpaid. That's why I even tell people, if you're a high school student, start to volunteer, do internship. If you are a college student, start organization, start doing blogs, start doing YouTube, start doing volunteering at a local school, do some volunteering work. All those things, they will help you not only for green card, but also for your future, just for other things. Those are very important. Because you might have been just graduated, let's say this year, and you have won the green card lottery. You don't have any work experience. How can you prove that you are coming here and you can be able to excel in the United States? So, even if they say they don't need both, it is better to have at least both, in my opinion. At least high school and work experience. And you need to go to this website. You have to know how to do these kind of things. By using education, it is very objective. That if you have bachelor degree, you have bachelor degree in your country. But when it comes to work experience, it becomes sometimes subjective depending on how consular officer will go to define your work experience. You need to have proof of work experience. By proof, it means you need to have a job title. How long have you been working from this year to this year? what were the job description or what were the duties you were doing? Does that job require you to have any kind of certification? Maybe you are maybe mediator. Were you able to do mediation work? Did you have the work experience and education required, like kind of that? Did it require maybe to be a registered nurse in your country? Things of that nature. But in addition to that, do you have a contract or recommendation from your employer that this person is our employee or working from this time to this time? These are the job description. This was the salary. Things of all those kind of things will help you to determine that one. Because if you just come and just mentioning this is my work experience, I worked from this one and work this year, how can they prove? They are going to deny you. And one person I remember, it was having the work experience, written a letter by a pen. Let's be serious. So if you have a contract, you have offer letter, put all those kind of things together is a binder. You go there with all these evidences. And especially when you are going with work experience without education, that is the worst situation you're going to put yourself into. But even if you have PhD, just go with your work experience just in addition to all those kind of things. Why? Because if I'm a consular officer, I want to determine the public charge, because now they have introduced the public charge. So they will be going beyond your education and work experience. I want just to predict that, are you coming to United States and are you coming here? Are you going to excel or you are going to ask assistance from the government if you come here? That means consular officers have begun the duties and responsibility to forecast, to see your application and to see in a total way that this person is going to excel in America or not. So despite that, you say you have a farm, despite you say you have just maybe you have you own a small piece of land, despite for you in your case you say that maybe I have, let's say, this number of goats, whatever, oh, this is my salary. But if you have maybe bachelor degree, you have work experience, enough work experience, they see that even if this person doesn't have enough money in the bank, but this person with this experience, with this education, if he's in America, is likely going to get a good job after a short time. Compared to a person, yes, you have high school, but you have never worked in your life. Even if you have money in the bank, likeliness you come here and to get a good job, to go and do things at higher level becomes very difficult. So my advice is you need to make sure that you fill the job description very, very well. You need to know how to put the proper way of titles. You need to start volunteering, do internship. Even if you have a work, find another something, do something else. For me, I'm doing YouTube. For my work experience, I can put there, I'm a content creator. I have a blog. I can put as a blogger. I have over 10 years of work experience as a blogger. So even if I'm not paid, but all these things come to matter. I'm a book writer. Yes, I don't make money out of those, but all those kind of things, you can use those things in your application. So don't just wait to get the job, to get paid money, to prove that that is a work experience. Work experience can be paid, can be voluntary things you can be able to do for free. So when you asking me about work experience, that's you need to know. A work experience must be a qualifying work experience, meet the standard of the Department of Labor. There are job zone. There are, apart from job zone, there are certain categories like kind of training. Like it's not just I'm a barber, I just cut hair. Did you go for the training to cut hair? Because there are those kind of colleges, like polytechnical schools. Did you go to do those kind of education? So things of that, they will help you. So whatever you do, even if you are doing cooking, if you have you are certified as a chef, it makes sense that, oh, I've been working on this restaurant just to cook, but I'm cooking this restaurant, but I have a certification as a chef. I went to the culinary school and I did at least 1 year or 2 years of this kind of training. So let's not just do things just randomly. Do things, have documentation, get a contract, get a letter of recommendation, and find a proper way on how to write. In this video, on the description, I'm going to put the link of the Department of Labor where you can be able to see what kind of the qualifying work experience and what kind of these jobs zone and the job training, which one are considered as qualifying. So that is very crucial. So work experience and education are very crucial. Better to have both. And even if your spouse, even if your main applicant is a winner, have the information, education, work experience of your spouse will help you to determine that you as a couple, if you come here, you are not going to be a public charge. So that is very, very important for you. So if you have any question, please remember to put the question here and I will try my best to make a video or go to respond on the comment and be able to help you. I wish you all the best in waiting for your results, and if you are a winner, I'll be very much happy, and I'll be happy to guide you into make sure that you are not going to do a mistake while you are filling the DS260. That will be a very important piece of information. Thank you everyone, and I wish you all the best. Good luck. And this is Ernest Boniface Makulo, EBM. Goodbye everyone.